What's up? It's Smash Pass MMA here with the UFC 324 on Paramount Plus recap. Starting off with the prelims, we got Ty Miller versus Adam Fugit. Pretty much exactly like I expected. Adam Fugit had a little bit of success early with some different stuff, kicks, and I think he landed a knee. Maybe I think he threw an elbow in there that looked like it could have some success, but I don't know. I think he missed it. But Ty Miller really just had the superior boxing, and once he got going, it was just a wrap. There was no coming back from that. If you took the underdog parlay, we lost right away. I put $1 on it. It was at $1 could win 1,250 if all four underdogs won. Davison Figueiredo, Rose Namajunas, Adam Fugit, and Puliev, which fucking Puliev at least did pretty good, but the rest of them were hit or miss. Going on to the next fight, we got Josh Hokett versus Denzel Freeman. Again, pretty much exactly like I expected. Josh Hokett just putting the hands on Denzel Freeman, though I did not expect Denzel Freeman to get TKO'd via taking a break. Like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen in a UFC fight, to have a fighter lose from no damage. Like the damage was done, the fight was still going, two fighters are away from each other, round's about to end, one fighter squats down like literally 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds before the end of the round, and they wave the fight off. That's crazy. But what I want to discuss is two things. One, Josh Hokett going straight to the wrestling right off the rip, and then coming back for the boxing later. Kind of surprised me. I didn't think he was gonna go straight for it like that, but that tells me he might have respected Denzel Freeman, kicking ability and his stand-up. One detail I really want to point out about this fight: when they're on the cage, Denzel Freeman drapes his arm over the cage. The ref pulls on his arm and says, "You can't have it outside the cage," or whatever he says, like, get it off the cage. Josh sees this, sees that the guy's talking to the ref and his arm's up. And as the ref's taking his arm down, Josh blasts like an uppercut from back control up under his armpit. It's hard to see like how good it landed, but the awareness and the fight IQ to be like, oh shit, he's distracted, the ref is talking to him, and throw that punch. I don't know how no one's talked about that, I don't know how no one else has talked about that. I thought that was creative and pretty high IQ moment. All right, after that, we had Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. Now, I got this one completely wrong. I thought Charles Johnson was going to be enough for Alex Perez. At 125, I honestly don't really expect anyone to get fucking knockouts, so that was a little surprising. I will give Alex Perez a ton of credit for that. I mean, he did look good at one point. I just really thought 1 and 5 in his last 6 was like just so bad that, like, how could you even think he has a chance, but he did. Not only did he have a chance, but he actually won. From there, we got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. I thought Modestas was going to win. We saw a little bit of that vintage Nikita, durable. He took some shots, but just really sticking behind technical, not super flashy, but just good technical striking. And eventually, building up enough of a lead off that where he starts to take the fight over. So that was great to see. I mean, I thought I'd never see a vintage Nikita Krylov performance again, but that was definitely vintage Nikita Krylov. From there, we went to Ateba Gutierrez versus Andre Puliev. Now, at no point was it like, Andre Puliev's winning or anything like that. I mean, there was moments where he was winning for sure. But there was never a point where it was like, oh, Ateba's down a round, down 2 rounds, whatever. But what I will say is Puliev clearly, Puliev landed more shots and is the better strategist, no doubt. But Ateba just hurt him at least once in every round, and just that alone made it kind of hard to give the nod to Puliev. So Puliev did a great job getting rocked in the first round, getting right back up, fighting through it. But unfortunately wasn't enough, got rocked again and dropped again in the second. He might not have actually got got dropped in the third, but definitely got rocked at least, once or even twice in every round. So it was clearly a Teba winning. But you could see maybe if they did a 5-rounder and they did it maybe 5 times, maybe Andre can pull off 2 decisions or something. I wish he would have mixed in the grappling a little bit, and I think that would have gave him the edge, but he didn't. So, oh well, fuck it. All right, next up we have Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. I hoped this wasn't how this was going to go, but this is exactly how it went. Davison's just too small. He doesn't have the power that he had at 125. His grappling isn't like next level sensational, like, a Charles and Islam, anyone like that, or even like Ortega, or even like a Aljo, or even like a Umar Marab, his grappling's good, but he got his leg destroyed by Corey Sandhagen in the 50-50. Which isn't great if you're, supposed to be like a BJJ guy, So I was hoping this wasn't how it was going to go, but it's exactly how it went. It was a pretty boring fight overall. Not a ton of action. A lot of Deiveson kind of being out of range and like shifting his shoulders and kind of giving Umar looks, and Umar just kind of circling and staying out of range. And a lot of Umar grappling Figueiredo, and a lot of Umar kind of just on the outside. Again, just not really the most exciting fight overall, but not bad, not awful. Kind of what we all expected. It's kind of crazy that they gave Umar to Deiveson when Davison's on like a fucking 2-loss. He had like 1 win and 2 losses in his last 3, and Umar is fucking 20-1 and only lost to Marab. It's like, why would you give him such a low, Now they're going to justify a title shot off that, when in reality it should have probably been Umar versus Corey in a 5-rounder, Prove, like, since the Umar loss, Corey blew Davison's leg. Since the Corey win, Umar lost to Marab. And then Corey fought Marab. So it's like, did Corey improve his grappling more than Umar improved overall? Or, I feel like that would be a better fight than Figueiredo. You just knew Figueiredo had a low probability of winning. It just didn't really do anything for the weight class at all. It really was like a free win for Umar, which is basically all his fights up to this point. So sick. All right, now we're going on to the main card. That was the headliner of the prelims, but now we're on the main card. The first fight of the main card, we got Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. So it was kind of how I expected. Round 1 was kind of how I expected the whole fight to go. Arnold Allen looking pretty good, circling around, using his jab, not getting too brawly. But Gene Silva did a good job staying composed, mixing it up. He took the spinning elbow Diego knocked him out with and threw it and landed it like flush. He did a good job pacing himself, not being too frantic, but still constantly, looking for an engagement and the knockout and all that. So Gene Silva definitely performed much better than I anticipated he was gonna. And Arnold Allen kind of performed like very inexperienced, it seemed. It almost seemed like Arnold Allen didn't fight, Calvin Kattar and Max Holloway and Movsar Evloev and all those guys. It kind of seemed like Arnold Allen was the guy fighting Max Holloway. It seemed more like Arnold Allen was the one who was like experiencing the jump up in competition, which is obviously not the case. So quite interesting how that one played out. Maybe Gene Silva just really is just the best in the division, but also has like the weakest forehead possible, and all you gotta do is like tap it with the elbow and he's cooked. I don't know. Might be the case. Next up, we had Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. I thought Rose was going to pull this one off. I honestly, watching the fight, still kind of think Rose did pull it off. It wasn't like drastic, right? And but it was close enough that I could see it going either way, and it seemed like Natalia Silva was gaining towards the end, so I will give her that for sure. So if it was like a 5-round, it seemed like she probably would have won. But God, Rose is just too freaking small at this weight class and is clearly the best 115-pounder ever. It's crazy. But yeah, not the most exciting fight either, to be honest. Next up, we had Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis got like jabbed in the beard and then was like, and kind of like tripped and then was like, oh man, I have to get up now, and just kind of said, fuck it, and laid down. And Waldo just said, are you just saying, like, you want me to come finish you? And then he just went over and finished him, and it was like that. It literally was like a nothing. It was literally like a nothing fight, other than Waldo hitting Derek with some crazy ground and pound. I mean, those ground and pound shots were brutal. They weren't like super technical or nothing fancy, and he didn't really have to do any work to get them there, but like they were hard shots, and those, like, Derek Lewis definitely felt them and you know, started to cover up. I think he gave up first, and then when he felt the shots, he was like, fuck, why'd I let him do that? You know what I'm saying? So, pretty good performance. Damn, Derek Lewis, you've really let yourself go. That's crazy. Like, I mean, to lose the fight, no big deal, but like, to lose the fight the way he lost the fight is crazy. I guess the first round was kind of good. It was like, you know, it was tense. The first round was like a little tense. But God, overall, not the best performance on either. I mean, like, it doesn't make Waldo look any better to beat that version of Derek Lewis, in my opinion. And then we had Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. I really thought this was going to be a much more exciting fight. Sean O'Malley was pretty dominant overall. It's not, maybe, you know, I think Song landed mostly arm punches, like, or sorry, not arm punches, but I think when Song landed punches, it was mostly on Sean's arms. And Sean, you know, just kind of picked at him for the whole time. Third round was definitely the best. It wasn't the, you know, most exciting, thrilling fight overall, but Song's super dangerous, so you have to understand, you know, why it played out the way it did, and it makes sense that it played out the way it did. I guess people think Sean maybe lost that fight, which I think is, I could see maybe the judges thinking that, just because, like, they can't really always see when punches land, and they don't get the strike numbers accurate. They get whatever BS comes out first, maybe, but then they get adjusted later. And sometimes after the fight, you realize most of those punches didn't land, and I think that was the case here. Is like, I don't think Song Yadong really landed that many punches, but maybe it seemed like he did from certain people's perspective. So I could see that, I guess, but I thought it was pretty clear Sean O'Malley was winning the whole time, though never looked like he was just crazy dominant. It always did. It had some tension the whole time where you were like, okay, Yadong could still land a big shot and end the fight out of nowhere, you know? But next we got the main event, which is Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. What a freaking slobber knocker. What a freaking barn burner. I mean, this should have been like a not BKFC. This should have been a BMF title fight, you know? This is what you expect to see from a BMF type of fighter, right? Like Justin Gaethje just walking him down. I mean, Paddy really couldn't do anything to stop Justin Gaethje's forward pressure. Paddy landed some good stuff, some like decent combos. I mean, the tough part is like when Paddy was landing like a 1-2, 1-2, but what people like weren't, I don't think, realizing in the moment, like, I mean, even the commentators were saying that Justin was rocked, and I think they mostly missed. I mean, the ones landed, and I think the twos were like these weird like paw-y kind of punches. So it was like it was like a jab landed, and then the cross like didn't really land that clean, and then another jab landed decent, and then the last cross like missed. And I feel like that happened like 3 times, and every time it happened, the commentary was saying, oh, like Paddy just rocked him, and it's like, I don't think that was necessarily the case at all. But it was a super fun fight. Justin Gaethje's an animal. I really thought Paddy Pimblett would be able to get some grappling going and would win the fight based off that. It didn't even really seem like he tried that much to get his grappling going. It seemed like he was happy to strike, which is crazy because he was getting his fucking head he was getting his freaking head bounced around. But overall, it was a great fight. Justin Gaethje looked good. Paddy Pimblett probably won like the 3rd round fairly convincingly, but overall it was pretty clear Justin Gaethje won the whole fight. And it was kind of shocking. That being said, it was just shocking how much Paddy could eat while also having so little success to mix it up or something. You know what I mean? but I was kind of accurate in my prediction saying Paddy would kind of be on the outside and really try to like lunge in with like these big colliding kind of shots rather than like anything technical. And also that Justin Gaethje would miss a lot just because of Paddy's size. Don't get me wrong, Justin Gaethje didn't miss that much. But when he missed, it wasn't because Paddy was like dodging it. It was just because Paddy was like at a range where Justin couldn't get him yet, and Paddy could still kind of get him. So Paddy's size really was his biggest advantage, and it didn't matter at all. He got really pieced up, and I don't think it's a total fraud check. I mean, Justin Gaethje is amazing, so it's not a fraud check. But he really needs to like go back to the drawing board and take 6 months to really work on his wrestling and his striking, because without like one of those at least, he's screwed. Can't rely on your chin and just your submissions. If you can't get the fight to the ground, you're not really going to be able to implement your ground game. So need to figure out which side of that coin is going to be an easier gap to try to bridge, and then bridge it as fast as possible, and then try to bridge the other one a little bit before he comes back, because I mean, he's also gonna benefit from the recovery time, because that was a pretty brutal beatdown. He got pretty fucked up. But all that being said, I almost forgot the first knockdown. I mean, Justin Gaethje poked him in the eye like immediately in the fight, and then the first knockdown came off what you wouldn't call an eye poke, but it came off like a very unfortunate. The thumb got caught in the eye socket, so as the punch passed Paddy's head, the thumb got trapped like in the eye socket and went like almost fully in Paddy's eye. So, no, but it was a bummer to have the fight kind of like, to have that be such a big moment where Paddy got poked in the eye and then dropped and then got smashed with some elbows, which at that point you get back up. Even if you're there mentally, like, it is harder now to do anything else. Like, your gas is a little bit worse. Your head's a little bit less clear. Even if you manage to shake out the cobwebs, per se, the chances that you're back to, like, 100% like you were right before those elbows rattled your brain is, like, zero. Like, it's almost impossible, right? So, it is a little unfortunate, but I don't think it would have ultimately made a huge difference. So, that's the breakdown of the first Paramount Plus main card and prelims. It was awesome. I thought Paramount Plus did a good job of the production. A couple things I like about Paramount Plus. Everyone's saying like more ads, but I think they're just like, I think they're actually stupid and they don't understand and they maybe didn't watch before. ESPN Plus would literally do an ad like every corner break, every minute they would do an ad, and you didn't really. People are saying that they didn't hear the corner now. Like, you were hearing the corner in the freaking first 2 fights of the early prelims. So, maybe, towards like the main event, they started doing more ads and it kind of got in the way. But overall, I think that Paramount Plus was a pretty solid production. And I really have zero complaints. I think Paramount Plus beat the pay-per-view model and the ESPN Plus model. Like the video quality was better, more clear. The face-offs were better, and also I thought the way they did the ads was better, because like when they did have ads, it was like not taking away from the fight. It was like in the top right corner. It was like, yo, buy dude wipes while the corner's talking. You know what I mean? And I thought it was much, much better. So I'm gonna have to pay closer attention, I guess, this time, now that I'm hearing people are saying the opposite of what I thought. But my first reaction was like nothing but pure happiness, pure excitement, pure joy. I really felt like Paramount Plus did the fans service in how they went about putting on the UFC 324. So unlike ESPN Plus, which did it for their pockets, Paramount Plus seems to be doing it more for the fans and the product itself. So we can only hope that they listen to any suggestions and continue to make little changes. But I thought it was great. All that being said, look for the UFC 325 breakdown coming literally probably a couple hours, or at most like a day behind this one. Okay, so I'm going to get that one out by tomorrow morning at the latest, but probably today. All right, peace out. A-Town down.